What is happening, everyone, and welcome back to the Roger Report. The news cycle is absolutely electric right now, delivering a constant stream of must-know updates across the board. We've got stories dropping that are going to make you stop, think, and maybe even question everything you thought you knew. From the gridiron to the headlines, the pace is relentless, and you absolutely do not want to miss what we've got for you today. Get ready because the information is flowing, and we're here to break it all down for you, faster and fresher than ever. Stay locked in, because this is your essential update, and it's all happening right now. First up, we're diving into a situation on the football field that's got everyone talking. A legendary quarterback is reportedly giving a former player the cold shoulder, and the tension is palpable. What went down when they crossed paths? We've got the details on this developing story that's keeping the sports world buzzing. Then, we shift gears to a different kind of team dynamic. It seems a star player's recent decision has inadvertently highlighted some serious needs within a prominent team. Who is this player, and what does their choice reveal about the desperation for new talent? We're unpacking the implications of this move and what it means for the team's strategy moving forward. But the drama doesn't stop there. We're heading back to the training camp for another unfolding narrative involving that same quarterback. Reports are surfacing about a direct snub from a team icon, and the story behind it is raising eyebrows. What exactly happened, and what does this interaction say about the current team climate? Finally, we're looking ahead to the season with some bold predictions about an aging superstar. Can a veteran athlete defy the odds and achieve greatness in their twilight years? We're exploring the expert opinions and the historical context that could make this an unprecedented comeback story. You won't want to miss any of these critical updates. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and let us know what you think in the comments below. A cold shoulder heard round the field. This story is making waves in the sports world, as a high-profile quarterback reportedly snubbed a well-known former player and media personality during a recent training camp visit. The incident has reignited discussions about past tensions and current dynamics within a prominent football team, leaving many to wonder about the underlying reasons for the frosty reception. The situation unfolded when Ryan Clark, a former Steelers player and current ESPN personality, visited the Pittsburgh Steelers training camp. Clark, who hosts the Pivot podcast and was on site to interview players and head coach Mike Tomlin, extended an invitation to quarterback Aaron Rodgers for a sit-down conversation. Clark expressed his desire for a friendly exchange, stating he had nothing against Rodgers and wanted to welcome him to the team and discuss his career, even calling him the best quarterback I ever played against. However, Rodgers declined the meeting, citing other commitments. Clark recounted the encounter, detailing how he saw Rodgers interacting with offensive coordinator Arthur Smith as he arrived. When Clark attempted a casual greeting, rolling down his window to say hello to a group that included Rodgers, he claims Rodgers looked directly at him but offered no acknowledgement. Clark interpreted this as a deliberate snub, noting that while he respected Rodgers' decision to avoid a potentially awkward interaction, he found the lack of a simple greeting to be rude. He further elaborated on his respect for Rodgers' stance, suggesting that the quarterback was simply being authentic about his unwillingness to engage in a superficial interaction, thereby setting a clear boundary that you and I don't talk. The underlying tension stems from an off-season dispute between Rodgers and Clark. Clark had previously criticized Rodgers' leadership abilities, calling him devoid of the great leadership ability to lift a locker room. Rodgers, in turn, had publicly disparaged media personalities with forgettable careers who he felt were only trying to stay relevant by commenting on current players. Clark responded by labeling Rodgers a fraud who acts as if he's above everybody and everything. This history clearly informs Rodgers' reluctance to engage with Clark, even in a professional setting. Despite the public nature of their feud and Rodgers' apparent desire to avoid further confrontation or interaction with Clark, the former player stated he still respects Rodgers' position. He even found a good chuckle in the situation, suggesting a level of detachment from the perceived slight. This interaction highlights the intense rivalries and personal dynamics that can play out off the field, even as teams prepare for the upcoming season. It also raises questions about how these personal conflicts might influence team dynamics and public perception. The upcoming season opener, ironically against the Jets, where Rodgers previously played, adds another layer of narrative to this ongoing saga. This situation certainly sets a dramatic tone for the season ahead. But what does Rodgers' apparent need for familiar faces mean for the Steelers' current receiver situation? Desperate measures for a familiar face. A recent report has shed light on a player's decision that inadvertently exposes a key team's perceived desperation for reinforcements, particularly at the wide receiver position. In a detailed article, it was revealed that the Pittsburgh Steelers were among the teams vying for the services of veteran wide receiver Marquez Valdes-Scantling. The receiver ultimately had to choose between joining the Steelers or signing with the San Francisco 49ers. Valdes-Scantling opted for the 49ers practice squad, a move that, while perhaps beneficial for his personal career trajectory, has been interpreted as a sign of how keen quarterback Aaron Rodgers is to reunite with a familiar offensive weapon. Rodgers and Valdes-Scantling previously spent 4 seasons together with the Green Bay Packers, a period where they developed a strong on-field connection. Rodgers, known for his tendency to recruit former teammates, clearly saw Valdes-Scantling as a potential valuable addition to the Steelers' offense. However, the veteran receiver's decision to bypass Pittsburgh and head to San Francisco has, according to some analyses, underscored Rodgers' apparent desire for a trusted target. This situation also contrasts with the Steelers' organizational philosophy, which typically emphasizes player autonomy in decision-making, free from the influence of current roster members. Valdes-Scantling himself explained his choice, noting that the decision was difficult and came down to a 50-50 split between the two teams. He ultimately believed the 49ers offered a better career path, which included the allure of playing in a warmer climate compared to Pittsburgh's potentially colder weather. Furthermore, he cited the familiarity with the 49ers' offensive scheme, managed by Clay Kubiak, as a significant factor. Valdes-Scantling had spent part of the previous season under Clint Kubiak, Clay's brother, with the New Orleans Saints, suggesting a smooth transition into the 49ers system. The Steelers, meanwhile, are facing questions about their current wide receiver depth. While they have Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin III on the roster, their readiness to step into significant roles remains a subject of debate. Rodgers' recruitment efforts and their ultimate failure to secure Valdes-Scantling suggest that he may be looking for more established playmakers to bolster the team's offensive capabilities, especially as he prepares for his first season with Pittsburgh. This development comes as the Steelers continue to explore options to improve their roster. With players being cut and others available on the trade market, the team, and particularly Rodgers, appear eager to add talent and experience. The pursuit of Valdes-Scantling and his subsequent choice has certainly amplified the conversation around the Steelers' receiver room and Rodgers' influence within it. It's clear that player preferences and team needs are creating a lot of buzz. Now, let's circle back to the training camp for another intriguing interaction involving the Steelers' star quarterback. Camp Clash, a silent treatment from the star quarterback. During a recent visit to Pittsburgh Steelers training camp, a prominent former player and media personality found himself on the receiving end of a notable snub from the team's new star quarterback. Ryan Clark, a Super Bowl champion with the Steelers and a current figure on ESPN, makes it a tradition to visit the team's training camp to conduct interviews for his podcast, The Pivot. This year, Clark had hoped to sit down with quarterback Aaron Rodgers for a conversation. However, when Clark extended the invitation, Rodgers reportedly declined, stating he had other obligations. Speaking on the Football America podcast, Clark detailed the encounter, emphasizing that he approached the situation with no ill will. He expressed a desire to welcome Rodgers to the Steelers franchise, acknowledging his own connection to the team's history and stating that he viewed Rodgers as the best quarterback I ever played against. Despite his amicable intentions, Clark recounted an instance where he saw Rodgers engaged in conversation with offensive coordinator Arthur Smith upon their arrival at the facility. When Clark attempted to offer a simple greeting by rolling down his car window, he claims Rodgers looked directly at him but did not respond. Clark described this lack of acknowledgement as rude, but also stated he respected Rodgers' decision not to engage if he felt there was an underlying issue. He was like, "I'm not gonna be fake," Clark explained, interpreting Rodgers' actions as a clear signal that he did not wish to interact or maintain a superficial relationship. Clark added that this set a tone, and as a result, he did not attempt to speak to Rodgers on the field during practice, and Rodgers did not speak to him. Despite the perceived snub, Clark admitted to getting a good chuckle out of the situation, suggesting a level of amusement rather than genuine offense. The dynamic between Clark and Rodgers has been marked by public criticism. Earlier in the offseason, Clark had questioned Rodgers' leadership qualities, stating he lacked the ability to effectively lead a locker room. Rodgers responded by criticizing media figures with unremarkable careers who he believed were using commentary on current events to remain relevant. Clark then escalated the exchange by calling Rodgers a fraud. Rodgers, who joined the Steelers this offseason after a tenure with the New York Jets, has been relatively open with the media about his thoughts on the team and his own performance. However, his past criticisms of ESPN and its personalities suggest a general disinterest in engaging with the network or its representatives. Clark's account of the training camp interaction paints a picture of a lingering tension between the two, with Rodgers seemingly unwilling to extend even a courtesy greeting. While Clark maintains he respects Rodgers' authenticity and his decision to avoid a potentially disingenuous interaction, the incident has undeniably added another layer to the ongoing narrative surrounding the veteran quarterback and his integration into the Steelers' team. This interaction certainly adds an interesting layer to the team's internal dynamics. Now, let's look at what experts are saying about the veteran quarterback's potential for success this season. Aged greatness, can Rodgers rewrite the record books? As the Pittsburgh Steelers gear up for the upcoming season, much of the spotlight is on their veteran quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, who is aiming to lead the team to a playoff resurgence after years of futility. The central question revolves around Rodgers' ability to perform at a high level at the age of 41, a milestone that few quarterbacks have successfully navigated in the NFL. Bill Simmons, host of the Bill Simmons podcast, recently commented on the potential impact of a successful season for Rodgers, suggesting it would be one of the great over-40 achievements in any sport. However, Simmons expressed skepticism about the Steelers' overall chances, stating, "I don't see it, though." Simmons' reservations stem from his assessment of the Steelers' supporting cast. He specifically questioned the offensive line and the team's receiving core, beyond a player like DK Metcalf. He drew a parallel to Tom Brady, who achieved remarkable success in his 40s, including a Super Bowl win with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at age 43. Brady's success, Simmons noted, was bolstered by a talented group of receivers like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, tight end Rob Gronkowski, and even former Steelers receiver Antonio Brown. In contrast, Simmons highlighted the Steelers' reliance on younger, less proven receivers like Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin III to fill key roles. Wilson, in particular, has limited NFL experience, having played only 5 snaps in his rookie season, making his projection as a reliable WR2 a significant gamble. The team is also expected to heavily depend on its tight ends, Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith. Simmons also touched upon the Steelers' defense, acknowledging its strength but anticipating a potential decline due to age. While the team has added experienced cornerbacks like Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey, both are in their 30s, as are key defensive players like TJ Watt and Cam Hayward. While rookies like Derek Harmon and Yahya Black offer youth, they are yet to prove their NFL readiness. Given these factors, Simmons projected the Steelers to finish with fewer than 8.5 wins, predicting their first losing season under head coach Mike Tomlin. Such an outcome would be a significant disappointment, especially considering the offseason efforts made by the team's management and coaching staff, and would undoubtedly be a blow to Rodgers' aspirations for a strong finish to his career. The narrative surrounding Rodgers' return to the field is one of high stakes and significant challenges. Whether he can defy the odds, overcome the perceived weaknesses in his supporting cast, and achieve a historic level of success in his 40s remains one of the most compelling storylines of the upcoming NFL season. It's clear that opinions are divided on the Steelers' prospects this year. Now, let's recap all the major stories we've covered today. And that's a wrap on today's essential updates. We saw Aaron Rodgers give Ryan Clark the cold shoulder at Steelers camp, highlighting lingering tensions. Then, Marquez Valdes-Scantling's decision revealed Rodgers' apparent desperation for a familiar receiver. We also delved deeper into the training camp, snub incident, and heard expert takes on whether Aaron Rodgers can achieve greatness over 40. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Rodger Report for more, hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, leave a comment with your thoughts, and follow us on all social media platforms for behind-the-scenes content and more.